guys, thank you for joining me on my channel where I talk about my health scare with you guys. Um, I'm new to YouTube, but I thought that somebody may need this information or could use this information. So back in, I want to say February of 2024, this year, I was having some symptoms, and I thought maybe because I gained some weight. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get back in the gym and start back working out, get this weight off of me, because I'm having symptoms of certain things. Like my symptoms were, it was hard for me to breathe, um, it was hard for me to sleep, and when I did sleep, I literally would wake up gagging or coughing, and I'm thinking, man, I must have really gained some weight because I'm dealing with sleep apnea now. So with that being said, I literally would go try to sleep on the couch or sleep in my head elevator, trying to do those little tricks that people use to not have such a hard time breathing while they sleep. But that didn't work for me. It didn't work at all. So sometimes I would just stay up because I was afraid to go to sleep. I was afraid that I would not wake up the next morning. So I would just stay up, even though I drive for a living. But I literally was not about to go to sleep and wake up dead. Also, I couldn't breathe when I walked. You know how you walk at your normal pace? It's been your normal pace all these years or your last couple of years because you gotten healthier. My normal pace is like a little fast. I could not walk my normal pace. I would have to walk like the speed of a toddler in order for me to make it to where I was going. And even with me walking the speed of as a top, like I was a toddler, I literally would still be kind of out of breath. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I started focusing on, like, what are you eating? Maybe you have a lot of mucus within your body or your body is inflamed. What are you eating? What are you drinking? But I wasn't so focused enough to where it made me stop eating those things. Like I was eating out every day, every meal, because I had just started back working after 4 years, and I had moved to a new place. So I literally was not cooking anything. And I had a split schedule with my work, so I just would eat out all the time. So literally what I was drinking, whatever came with the meal. But barely any water. Sodas, juice, whatever. And I think because I was going through something, I cared, but I didn't care enough to stop. Any little small activity would cause me to be breathless. And so I was like, well, I'm going to just get something. And I don't have to worry about standing up. Or, when I would stand up, I still would be out of breath. And I still just didn't know what was going on. So with these symptoms and me thinking, oh, I must have gained weight. And when I stepped on the scale, I did gain weight. So I'm like, this got to be it. This got to be it. Weight gain, getting older. Things are happening. So I started back working out. But my workout consisted of resistance training and weightlifting. Not super hard, heavy weightlifting, but weightlifting. Because I wanted to get back into where I was. I'm a person that I know how to work out. I've been knowing how to work out, but life things happen and you just stop working out or you let that get to you. So I started back working out and eating better. So what I would eat was fruits, vegetables, rice, grilled meat, but I still would notice that I couldn't breathe. When I worked out at home. And I worked out at home due to the fact that my schedule I had a schedule where I worked early mornings and then I would get off sometimes by noon, sometimes 4, 5, but I had a little time to work out after work, even though I had to be at work at 3 in the morning the next day. But I would work out then. So once my schedule changed, it changed to like a midday but with a split. So I had a 3-hour split. Now my job offers 2 gyms for employees and their family. So I started going to that gym. Now the front of the building gym is on the main floor, and I would never go into that gym because it was a lot of men in there trying to be macho, like trying to show everybody that they macho. So I was like, that's not what I'm here for. And I'm struggling to breathe. I don't need to be in there. So I went to the back gym, but guess what? The back gym was up some steps. Oh my God. I struggled so hard and so bad getting up into the gym, but I did it every day. I don't care if I had to pull the rail to pull myself up the steps to get into the gym. And I did that every single day until one day I tried to get on the stationary bike or cycling machine. I tried to get on one of those. I'm like, I'm doing so good in the gym. I'm lifting weights, I'm resistance training. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm having this breathing issue, but I feel like the more I push myself, I'll get better. So I did that. And when I say I lasted every minute and still I could not breathe. I just walked back to my car, set the rest of my split, and I just myself. Because I'm the type of person where I could do so much and I could figure things out on my own. But this I couldn't figure out. I had never been exposed to it. I had never been around nobody who ever dealt with this, except when I had pneumonia. So I thought it was pneumonia. But it didn't feel the same as when I had pneumonia before. I just know that pneumonia plays a big part when it comes to your lungs. So I'm thinking it's just some form of pneumonia. And also with that pneumonia, I literally felt as if it was hyperthyroidism coming into play, because back in 2017 I was diagnosed with Graves' disease or hyperthyroidism. I was taking medicine and everything, but then at one point I stopped taking medicine and basically I healed myself. I haven't been on hyperthyroidism medicine, beta blockers, none of that for the last 3 years. So I'm just thinking, maybe is this showing back up? Because literally I had caught pneumonia first before they found out I had Graves' disease. And at this point, like I said before, I was still extremely lost, but I still was willing to try to figure it out, because I knew once I went to the hospital that literally they was going to keep me. It never fails. When I go to the hospital, I am being kept at least 4 or 5 days. And I literally, what I did was, because the symptoms were still there, nothing I did was working, not this way, not that way, nothing was working. So I went to urgent care, the state I live in now. I went to urgent care in the state where I'm in now. This is where I moved to when all the symptoms had started. So I went to urgent care over here where I am now. And when I went to urgent care, they was like, we don't accept your insurance over here. Yes, because I had Medicaid. I just recently started my job, so I hadn't filled out for the insurance yet, or it was open enrollment at the time. So I paid for it out of pocket. That's how desperate I was. I paid for it out of pocket to go into urgent care. And when they seen me in the back, I literally was in the back for 6 or 7 minutes. I was told that it was seasonal allergies, or seasonal asthma and allergies with while just being listened to with a stethoscope. That was it. No tests were ran, no anything. I'm not sure what urgent care is all capable of, but I thought they were capable of doing some tests because I went to urgent care with someone before and I seen them run some tests on him. But at this point, I was like, okay, if that's what it is, that's what it is. I was prescribed prednisone and an inhaler. And I immediately went to go get that inhaler. Like, when I say immediately, I drove so fast down the street to go to Walgreens to get this inhaler and this steroid. I felt better for about 3 days, and it was a 10-day regimen. I felt better for about 3 days, and the symptoms started coming back. I really was lost. I was calling off work because I wasn't sleeping to go to work. I was depressed, extremely depressed, because I didn't know what's going on. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the urgent care in the state where I lived in, where they accept my insurance. Now, the state where I lived in is only 25 minutes from where I'm at now. So I drove myself to urgent care. And when I drove there, they accepted my insurance. And when they accepted my insurance, I got to the back. Now, another reason why I wanted to go to the urgent care where I was from was because I felt like because I didn't have no insurance, that they treated me a certain way. Meaning like they rushed me out the door. Here, take this and buy, even though I paid. So when I got to this other urgent care, they literally did the same thing. I was told, well, it may be stress. You may be depressed. Mind you, I was depressed. I was depressed due to several things. But me being ill and not being able to put a finger on it was one of those things that really, really caused me to be depressed. Because I didn't know if I was dying or how long I had or what the deal was. So, literally, I just was like, took with this. I'm going to drive myself to the ER. Drove myself to the ER finally. Now, it took me so long to go to the hospital because I had just started my job back. And when I mean back, meaning I was fired from this job 4 years ago. And I love this job. I made good money at this job. But I was involved in domestic violence for 6 years. Nobody knew. And then we separated and he would stalk my job. And when he stalked my job, I would come when I could come. Because I was scared. I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. And I didn't want anyone to know what I was going through. So I never told anybody, but it looked like I didn't want my job. Because I wasn't showing up. Or I would show up, but it would be later, so I would not run into him. Because his mother got him out of jail, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, so I drove myself to the ER. I didn't care what the repercussions was with my job or anything. I just had to do what I had to do, or I wouldn't have a job, I wouldn't have a life. So I go to the ER, and I'm glad I went at the time that I went, which was about 9 a.m. And when I got there, literally everybody had been discharged, shift change already had taken place. I was immediately sent to the back. Even though the rooms were filled, they had a room for me. It was a trauma room. Now, with me noticing signs and paying attention to certain things, like I'm very intuitive, I was like, this can't be good. Mind you, they told me they put me in there just because the other rooms were filled. But I just knew that it couldn't be good. So they asked me questions about what I've been dealing with, my symptoms, how I've been feeling, what's been taking place in my life. And They ran a few tests, urine, they had got some blood work, and I want to say within 30 minutes to an hour of them doing those tests and everything, they came back. And the doctor had told me, well, we ran some tests, and according to what we see on our charts and what you've explained, it looks like you have heart failure. Now, all of this time, that explains why my feet were swollen. That explains so many things. But I don't know nobody, and I never knew anyone who had congestive heart failure. So certain things was just based off what I've researched. But I guess when I didn't want to believe it because a doctor hadn't said it to me yet. And I don't have the equipment to run the test. So my heart dropped when he said that. But I didn't let him see that. So I let him explain to me everything that was going on so I could gain knowledge of what was going on. Because mind you, I've been in the dark all this time. And when he left out the room, oh my God. I called my grandmother so fast. And I called her and told her, grandmother, it's congestive heart failure. And I cried. I could barely get it out because my grandmother's, it's like my mother. My mother is deceased and my father. So, she just stopped and said, I'm on my way. I called my husband, let him know what was going on. He said, I'm getting dressed and I'm on my way. Because he had took his clothes off, changed into some more comfortable in-house clothes after taking the children to school. That's why I ended up driving myself to the hospital because I didn't want to wait. I got tired of feeling that way I was feeling. So, so all along, while I've been wondering and guessing and speculating and not knowing, it was congestive heart failure the whole time. And I appreciate you guys for listening, because maybe one of you is going through this right now and just don't know it, and nobody really talks about it. So, hopefully this helps somebody. And I appreciate you guys for listening to my story. If you have any questions, comment down below. Please share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.